بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد So the topic that we're going to be speaking about today is the path of knowledge. When we look at knowledge in any society in the world, any society, any group of people in the world, the matter of knowledge is one that they look up to. Anyone in the world that you call knowledgeable, they enjoy it. You call anyone ignorant, you call them a person that doesn't have knowledge, they don't enjoy it anywhere in the world. It's something that's common throughout the world. And in fact, in societies where a certain group of people have knowledge that's superior to others, these people are respected. These are all societies are like this. All people around the world, and from the start of time as well, it's not a new thing. Knowledge is something that people look up to. And in fact, that creates the progress of society. The fact that knowledge is something that's looked up to. That's what causes society to progress, because society's progress is based on knowledge. You even find that people that are knowledgeable are given titles. They're respected, doctor, engineer, or for example, a scholar, or whatever the title may be. They're respected because of the knowledge that they have. And this in society allows for people to refer to them when they need assistance, because these people have knowledge. So you see that in these societies, knowledge is respected. Even when a person looks personally into their lives, again, we as humans like to know things. Curiosity, inquisitiveness that humans have is something that pushes us to learn. We always want to know new things. If you tell somebody, for example, would you like to learn something, it doesn't have any difficulty, it doesn't have any cost, it won't take your time, who would say no? Everyone, as a human being, you want to learn more and more. Often if we say no, it's because the concept is difficult, because it'll take our time, it'll take money. That's why we say no. But if it's going to be free without difficulty, anyone would take it. And they want to take it. As humans, we are curious by nature. And we also realize in our personal lives that the more knowledge that we have, the better our decisions are made. Even in simple matters, right? For example, you want to go from here to a different part of Dar es Salaam. A person who knows the roads better can travel in the best way. A person who doesn't know the roads won't be able to go on their own. They'll have to take somebody else's help. So we realize that knowledge is something that even in our personal lives is something that helps us. It's something that we strive for. So it's respected in society. It's something that we also realize the benefit of. Now what we want to do is, with regards to this matter of knowledge, ilm, let's look at this through the Islamic lens. What does Islam have to say about knowledge? What does Islam have to teach us about ilm? When we look at Islam, we find that there's a great deal of importance given to knowledge, a lot of importance. In fact, much more than other religions and other ideologies. Some people, when they think of knowledge, they think this is a good thing. Okay, if somebody's able to do it, able to get it, good for them, alhamdulillah. But when you look at Islam, the emphasis on knowledge is a very, very strong emphasis. I'll just read for you a few verses of the Quran that we can understand this emphasis. Surah Zumar, verse number 9. Allah says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. The second part of the verse, قُلْ هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Can the people who have knowledge and those who don't have knowledge be seen as equals? Can it be seen as equal? A person who sees realities, understands realities, and a person who doesn't see realities. Like I said, even in matters, day-to-day matters, right? We don't see them as equal. The Holy Quran is saying these people cannot be seen as equals. But the Holy Quran then goes on to give a reminder, إِنَّمَا يَتَذَكَّرُ أُولُو الْأَلْبَابِ. But the people who have intellect. Intellect in the Quran does not only mean smart people. It means those who use their intellect. You know, they said to one person that Your intellect, if they were to sell it, it would be very expensive. And he said, Alhamdulillah, this is God's blessing. He said, no, because you don't use it, it's unused. 0 kilometers, it's expensive. Not because you have a good intellect. The same way, all of us have intellect, but the skill is to use it. The skill is to put it to use. That's why the Quran says, only somebody who uses their intellect will understand this message. That the people who have knowledge and the people who don't have knowledge can never be equal. Or in another story in the Quran, when you see Talut that's being given the opportunity by Allah, the people said, oh Allah, put for us a ruler, a person that will be our commander and take us to war with Jalut. And Allah, after a certain amount of time, sends Talut. He says, Talut is your ruler. The first thing, the first thing that they say to him is that Ana paisa kya, ana pas paisa nati. What do they say? Anna yakun lahul mulk. Surah Baqarah verse 247. Anna yakun lahul mulk. How can you give him rulership over us? وَنَحْنُ أَحَقُّ بِالْمُلْكِ مِنْهُ. We are more deserving of power than him. وَلَمْ يُؤْتَ سَعَةً مِنَ الْمَالِ. You've not given him any money. How can he be our ruler? So they also, they realize that, their point is that a person who doesn't have money can't rule. And look at the Quran's response. Allah says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ اصْطَفَاهُ عَلَيْكُمْ. Allah has chosen him over you. Allah knows who to pick as a leader. It's not something coincidental. No, he was the one that deserved it. Why? وَزَادَهُ بَسْطَةً فِي الْعِلْمِ وَالْجِسْمِ. Allah says we increased for him knowledge and strength. These are the things that are required by a leader. Knowledge and ability. They have the knowledge, but they don't know how to use it. They can't put it into action. That's not useful. Somebody has a lot of activeness, but they don't have the knowledge. That's not useful either. We need both of these. We need somebody who is knowledgeable. We need somebody who is going to put it into action as well. So knowledge is something that's seen as the criteria of a leader over here. Again, if you look at Surah Yusuf, when the whole case trial happens in Prophet Yusuf's story, and Prophet Yusuf is now seen as somebody that didn't have any fault. His innocence is proven. The first thing that Prophet Yusuf says is that, Surah Yusuf verse number 55, قَالَ جَعَلْنِي عَلَى خَزَائِنِ الْأَرْضِ. Make me in charge of the treasuries of the land. Treasury is a very big position. Prophet Yusuf, you've just come out of jail. What makes you deserving to ask for the treasuries of this land? He says, إِنِّي حَفِيظٌ عَلِيمٌ. I'm a person who's trustworthy, but I'm also a person who's knowledgeable. You can see the Holy Quran in different instances, and there's more than this. Many, multiple instances in the Quran that you can see that knowledge is being seen as something that separates people from others, gives them a higher position than others. In this world, when it comes to being the head of the treasury, when it comes to being the commander of an army, and also in the hereafter, when you look at the first verse that we mentioned. So in Islam, knowledge is given a very high level of importance, more than other places and more than other ideologies. But the beauty of Islam is that it didn't limit it to this. Islam didn't tell us, knowledge is more important, but how, what, when, how much, what subjects. Islam has given us clear guidance in all of these matters. They told us the value of knowledge. They told us what knowledge, how to acquire this knowledge, what things to be careful of once you've acquired knowledge. There are dangers when a person begins to acquire knowledge. There are dangers that they face. And that's why the best way to look at knowledge is a journey, not a destination, not something that you reach. No, it's a journey that must continue in life. And a journey, what happens? You have dangers. You have threats. You have opportunities. You have a place that you want to head towards. Knowledge is the same in Islam. Knowledge is a path that must continue our whole life, and we must be careful to remain on this path. And be careful not to be taken aside and astray by the challenges that we may face. It's very important. When it comes to the ahadith, there's very many beautiful ahadith that shows the importance of knowledge. Somebody says that, why do I need knowledge? I'm happy in my life, I know my basics. Bas. But when you look at Ahlul Bayt, they show us that no, it's a necessary thing. Al-amil ala ghayri, this is from our sixth Imam. Al-amil ala ghayri basira kas-sa'ir ala ghayri at-tariq. Look at this beautiful hadith. The Imam says that a person who is going to act, they're going to be very productive with their life, but they don't have the knowledge, is like a person who's traveling, but on a wrong road. They're not traveling on the road. Now imagine you want to go from here to, I don't know, let's say you want to go from here to, say, Morogoro, right? Now, you get the best car. You make sure that your car is in best condition. You put fuel in the car. You make sure that you have snacks on the way, right? You have your sambusa, mandazi, baduche. Everything is ready to travel. But then instead of going on Morogoro Road, you head on Bagamoyo Road. The Imam says that the faster this person travels, the further away from the destination they get to. In your life, if you want to be very active, you want to set up all sorts of sessions and classes and Instagram page and whatever, but we don't have the knowledge. The Imam says that because of this activeness that you have, without knowledge, not only will you not reach the destination, you'll go further away. From Dar es Salaam to Morogoro is how many? 200 kilometers, for example. Now if you go to Bagamoyo, now you've added another 60 kilometers to the 200. You've gone further away. You had a good car, you had good company, you had good everything, but you didn't know where you were going. The Imam says that a person who acts without knowledge, the more that they act, the more productive they are, the further away they'll go. Or the Imams, again the sixth Imam teaches us that there's no action that holds value except when it's based on knowledge. لا يقبل الله عملا إلا بمعرفة. Actions that don't have knowledge behind them don't have value. Or the Holy Prophet says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Man amila ala ghayri ilm. The person who acts, but not based on knowledge, based on what they think is right, based on what they heard is right, based on I'm kido. Kana ma yufsid akthar mimma yuslih. The harm that they cause is more than the benefit that they cause. This is the importance of knowledge. How many good people want to do so many good things, but they don't have the knowledge for it? Islam says first acquire the knowledge for it, then act on that thing. How many good projects, how many good initiatives, how many good bodies, organizations, how many good intentions people have, but because there's no knowledge behind it, you find that there comes a time where these bodies that are both for the Ahlul Bayt, you see that they're standing against each other. Why? Because there's no knowledge. Because they didn't know what's correct to do. They didn't know what the right path is. Sometimes you see projects, you see different initiatives that there's so much effort being put into it, so much time. But because it's not based on the right guidance from the Quran, from the Ahlul Bayt, it doesn't have the effect that's required. Or as the Holy Prophet teaches us, sometimes it can be harmful. I'll just give you an example, a very simple example, not a real example, a hypothetical one. Imagine people that want to create awareness about relevant contemporary issues, right? They want to say that we want to create awareness about LGBT, whatever the different issues that may exist. But these people without knowledge on these issues begin creating awareness, trying to put across the Islamic message, trying to put across the correct teachings, but they don't have the right teachings. These people, as the Holy Prophet says, كَانَ مَا يُفْسِدْ أَكْثَرْ مِمَّا يُصْلِحْ. The bad that they'll do is more than the good that they'll do. The harm that they'll cause is more than the benefit that they can cause. We require knowledge when it comes to our actions. The next question that we'll ask the Holy Quran and the Ahlul Bayt is, what type of knowledge? Okay, fine, I understand it's very important. I must acquire knowledge. And alhamdulillah, the platform here of Madrasatul Zahra is set up for this, that people can and women can attain knowledge. But I come here and I see so many different courses, so many different modules. What type of knowledge should I acquire? Or let's say I'm not studying over here. I have other responsibilities or other platforms that I can study through. But what type of knowledge should I acquire? Again, Ahlul Bayt give us a lot of details on this. The first Imam says, Al-ilm akthar min an yuhat. Knowledge is too much for you to think that you can have all of it. فَخُذُوا مِن كُلِّ عِلْمٍ أَحْسَنَهُ. So from every knowledge, you take those things that are the best. Don't think that you'll be able to be somebody that knows everything. It's not possible. The Imam is teaching us. Nowadays, in the age of information, people want to become like this. One of the teachers that I got the chance to study under used to say that some people have become an ocean that's 1 meter deep. An ocean that's 1 meter deep means they know so many things. But when you go a little bit of depth, they don't know, because it's not possible. How can a person know about quantum physics, know about, I don't know, business matters, know about, for example, biology matters, know about, for example, Islamic knowledge, know about everything? They have something to say. And this is, by the way, the trend in today's world, right? That people are being exposed to so much information that people know so much. And you know what happens? The older generation often becomes very impressed. Because it's an ocean that's 1 meter deep. It's impressive. They'll tell you photosynthesis. They'll tell you, I don't know, whatever the big words are. But when you ask more about it, they don't know. The Imam is saying it's not possible for you to know everything. Pick from each knowledge that which is useful. Often this new trend of the age of information isn't even useful. For example, half of the information that we receive is not things that are useful for us. And that's why the Imam, the next thing that the Imam tells us when instructing us what knowledge to pick is, this is from Nahj al-Balagha, again our first Imam, وَوَقَفُوا أَسْمَاعَهُمْ عَلَى الْعِلْمِ النَّافِعِ لَهُمْ. The Imam, when he's describing the muttaqeen, he says one thing that they do, or the true believers, one thing that they do is that they've made their ears waqf, dedicated. Waqf property, you can't go, right? Except unless if you have permission or you're allowed to use it. They're saying these ears are waqf. Nothing is allowed to enter except عَلَى الْعِلْمِ النَّافِعِ لَهُمْ. Knowledge that is beneficial to them. Knowledge that will benefit them. Knowledge that will help them. Knowledge that will take their life forward in the right manner. So the Imam is telling us that you can't have everything. What should I take, O Imam? The Imam says those things that are necessary, those things that are beneficial. Again, this is still a little vague. The Imam, we ask that please clarify even more. What are these things that are beneficial to us? And then again, the first Imam, he has another hadith where he says that knowledge, that your actions will not be accepted except if you have that knowledge, that is the most important knowledge. Means what? Means that knowledge that I need and require for me to fulfill my obligations properly. Understanding my deen. He says this is the knowledge that is the most important. Interestingly, everybody in their lives require different knowledge because of their work, because of their circumstances. Some people may have a certain sickness, they need the knowledge of that sickness. Some people may have a certain profession, they need the knowledge of that profession. Each person has their own knowledge. But there's one type of knowledge that the Ahlul Bayt tell us that everyone has to have. It's not specific for anyone. And that is the knowledge of religion. The amount that without this amount of knowledge, a person cannot practice their religion. That's why the sixth Imam is narrated to have said that I saw that all of knowledge is in 4 things. Now this is making it specific in terms of topics. So we asked the Imams what knowledge? They said everything is not possible. You have to pick that which is necessary. What is necessary? That is that which is going to help us be successful in life. The knowledge of religion. By the way, don't get me wrong. Professions are important. Everybody must have the knowledge of their profession. Tomorrow you go to a car mechanic and he says, Maulana kido kali deen no knowledge atle mane awartu nathi have. No, that doesn't work. Of course, everyone has to have their own knowledge. There's no doubt in that. But there's one knowledge that everybody has to have. Whether they be a mechanic, a doctor, a housewife, an architect, an engineer, whatever. They must have this knowledge, the knowledge of religion. The Imam says 4 knowledges are, everything is summarized in these 4. 1, for you to understand your Lord. And ta'rif rabbak. This is one type of knowledge, means understanding Allah. Second, and ta'rif ma sana'a bik. To understand what has Allah done to you. Means how He created you, what did He create you for, what are the ways of guidance. These are all in the second type of knowledge. So the first one is understanding Allah. The second one is understanding the purpose of creation, the prophets, the imams, guidance, the Quran. All of this is the second type of knowledge. The third one, and ta'rif ma arada mink. What does Allah, now that you've established Allah wants to guide you, what does Allah want from you in your life? Means, what does this translate to in our lives? The rulings, the Sharia. A person must understand the Sharia, number 3. And the last one, and ta'rif ma yukhrijuka min dinik. Understand those things that take you away from your religion, the distractions. Understand these. These 4, all of knowledge is summarized in these. But Imam, where is the knowledge of medicine? Where is the knowledge of accounting? Where is the knowledge of all of these things? The Imam says that, look, the knowledge that is the most important knowledge for everyone is in this. Then there are other knowledges that are required for you to live your life properly, which again, Islam emphasizes upon those knowledge as well. But this is the knowledge that's for everyone. Everyone must know these 4 things. These 4 things, nobody can say on the day of Qiyamah, look, I didn't know these things. Amal kabonahati. Doesn't work like that. Everyone has to know these things. These 4 are compulsory for everyone. There's a day when in Medina, a person was in the mosque, the Holy Prophet entered the mosque and they saw that everyone is gathered around a person. Maybe you've heard this story. Let's look at it through this lens. Everyone is gathered around a person and the Prophet says, who is this person? And they say that, oh Prophet, you don't know this person is Allama. Allama means a person who's very knowledgeable. Now, sometimes in certain societies, Allama has been used for anyone. Allama in Arabic is not used for anyone. Allama is very, very knowledgeable. Very knowledgeable. For those of you who know Arabic grammar, it's interesting to analyze the word. The ta at the end is not for ta'nith. It's not for the feminine nature. It's actually for mubalagha. It's for exaggeration. It means such a high level scholar. So the Prophet says, okay, وَمَا الْعَلَّامَ. And what does allama mean? Who do you call allama? Which kind of a person do you guys call allama? So they answer that he is the most knowledgeable in terms of family trees of the Arabs and all of the events that's happened in the past and in poetry. The most knowledgeable. The Holy Prophet replies, ذَاكَ عِلْمٌ لَا يَضُرُّ مَنْ جَهِلَهُ وَلَا يَنْفَعُ مَنْ عَلِمَهُ. The Prophet says that's knowledge that if a person doesn't know it, it won't harm them. And if they know it, it won't help them. The same criteria that the Imams gave us. That knowledge that is beneficial, important, necessary for us. That's the knowledge we must seek. Not any knowledge. Of course, this is good knowledge to have, but this is secondary. Primary knowledge is what the Holy Prophet is going to explain. He says, ilm is only 3. Now, the 6th Imam said 4, the Prophet is saying 3. But you see that they match up. The Holy Prophet says only 3 things. Ayatun muhkama. 1, ayatun muhkama. A clear sign from Allah. Means the discussion of beliefs altogether. Whether it be Allah, the Holy Prophet, the Quran, all of these are clear signs that Allah has sent for us. In our 6th Imam's hadith, there were number 1 and 2, and ta'rifa rabbak, and ta'rifa ma sana'a bik. But the Holy Prophet made it into 1. Ayatun muhkama. Number 2, faridatun adila. An obligation upon you that has been put upon you in a straight manner. What's this? This is the knowledge of Sharia again, as our Imam also taught us. The matter of Sharia. أو sunnatun qa'ima, or a tradition and a practice that has been upheld and set upright. What is this? These are the matters of, the ulama explain over here, many of the ulama have come and explained here, that this means the matters of akhlaq, the matters of being careful of oneself, being vigilant over oneself. Now these three are the three knowledges, and if you look at Islamic knowledge, all Islamic knowledge fits into these three categories. The knowledge of beliefs, aqaid we call it sometimes. The knowledge of ahkam, sometimes called fiqh, but fiqh is slightly different to ahkam. Ahkam means the rulings. And the third is akhlaq, which sometimes is translated as manners, again incorrect. It should be translated as characteristics. Characteristics. Morals, it's translated, ethics is translated, all of these are translated. But akhlaq has got a deeper meaning than this. So the Ahlul Bayt are teaching us that knowledge is in these three categories that we have. Now, which one of these three should I work on? Should I be taking my studies in aqaid, in ahkam, in akhlaq? Which one should I base it on? See, because all of these are necessary. We must study all of these to a basic level. Every single human being. There's no exception. Everybody must know their basic beliefs, must know the rulings that are pertaining to them in their lives, and must know how to uphold themselves, what characteristics they need to put inside themselves and make a part of themselves, and what characteristics and traits they need to remove from themselves. This is something that these three knowledge are necessary for everyone. And this is something that the ulama taught us we all need to have studies on. The basic level is, when it comes to aqaid, to have a basic understanding of all of the different beliefs. Basic. Doesn't need to be too advanced. Ahkam, you need to know the rulings that are relevant for you on a daily basis, whether it be prayers, fasting, the things that are necessary. And in akhlaq, a person needs to know these characteristics. There are books available, there are courses available, but these three knowledge is necessary for every single person. And that's why we have a hadith that come and say, طَلَبُ الْعِلْمِ فَرِيضَةٌ عَلَى كُلِّ مُسْلِمٍ وَمُسْلِمَةٍ. Seeking knowledge is wajib. Fariḍa is wajib. Upon every single Muslim and Muslimah. There's no exception of gender, of age, of anything over here. It's wajib. Now, Imam, seeking knowledge is wajib. Which knowledge? The Imams have explained that you need to have a basic understanding of these three topics. We need to understand our beliefs, we need to understand our ahkam, we need to understand our akhlaq. Obviously, each one of these three can be explained in detail in what is the requirement for this. Why do we need aqaid? Why do we need ahkam? Why do we need akhlaq? And from these matters, what depth should we pursue in terms of understanding this? But these three are necessary. One person came to the seventh Imam and told the seventh Imam, "Oh Imam, I have some questions, I have some things that I require knowledge upon, but Imam, can I just ignore these? هل يسع الناس ترك المسألة عما يحتاجون إليه?" Can I ignore these and say, to sawal chepale hoine? The Imam says, of course not. قال لا, you cannot do that. Things that are required, you must go after and seek. And that's why this hadith that we say sometimes, طَلَبُ الْعِلْمِ فَرِيضَةٌ طَلَبُ الْعِلْمِ فَرِيضَةٌ, but we don't know where to apply it, the application is here. That is wajib upon every single person. Alhamdulillah, the madrasa takes this up. But often as a person leaves madrasa, they find there's a lot of questions. The Imam is telling us that you cannot just ignore these questions and bury them. You must seek knowledge on them. All of the other Islamic knowledges come back to this knowledge. Now, where does the knowledge of tafsir? Imam, you're telling us that aqaid, ahkam, akhlaq. Where is tafsir? Anyone would want to suggest where tafsir falls? Or hadith? Or tarikh? Where do these fall? Aqaid. So tafsir has some portions to do with aqaid. It has some portions to do with ahkam. It has some portions to do with akhlaq. The book of guidance has everything in it. It's got verses about beliefs. It's got verses about actions. It's got verses about traits and characteristics. The same with history. History is a tool for us to understand what people had gone through. The Imam says this in Nahj al-Balagha, Imam Ali alayhi salam. In Nahj al-Balagha, he says that history is a tool for us to understand what people went through so that we are able to learn from that in terms of their beliefs, their actions, their traits. All of Islamic knowledge must return to these. The last point that I'll speak about, obviously, like I said, there's a lengthy discussion in these three knowledges and these three sciences, if you want to call them sciences. the importance of them, why we need to seek them, what does it entail, what level. These are all lengthy discussions, which inshallah we can have at a different time. But the point that I want to move on to is that, okay, alhamdulillah, I've managed to increase my knowledge, but what am I doing it for? What am I studying for? What's the purpose behind my studies? The Ahlul Bayt teach us very clearly that the purpose of knowledge is like the purpose of a torch. You hold a torch in a dark area so that you can see ahead of you, so that you move in the right direction. Not that you hold the torch here but you start walking this way. Not that you hold the torch behind you and you start walking forward. Knowledge is like a torch. It must be kept ahead of us and guide us. That's why when the Ahlul Bayt emphasize on knowledge, you find it's usually tied together with something else. They emphasize on knowledge and actions based on knowledge. Many people, their goal, inshallah, none of us here, inshallah, their goal behind studying is not to act upon it. There's different reasons involved. Because a person, when they study, they are respected. A person, when they study and become knowledgeable, they're given positions. People may do it for that, may think that this is the reason why we should be studying. The Ahlul Bayt teach us that the reason for studying is to be able to act upon it. And that's why the Ahlul Bayt teach us, this is from our fourth holy Imam, he says, فَإِنَّ الْعِلْمِ إِذَا لَمْ يُعْمَلْ بِهِ. If knowledge is not acted upon, لَمْ يَزْدَدْ صَاحِبَهُ إِلَّا كُفْرًا. Knowledge that's not acted upon will only increase in your disbelief. You've become knowledgeable now, but not acting upon it has caused it to harm us. وَلَمْ يَزْدُدْ مِنَ اللَّهِ إِلَّا بُعْدًا. The knowledge that was supposed to take us on the path to Allah is the thing that now pulls us away from Allah. It does not increase anything in a human being except distance from Allah. The same knowledge that should have been to take us to Allah is the thing that's going to pull us away from Allah. And even it doesn't affect others. When a person now wants to speak and preach, the Ahlul Bayt teach us that it doesn't affect others. The Ahlul Bayt teach us that a person who wants this knowledge to help them in this dunya means what? Means that a person says that, mashallah, to bo bhaino che, to mashallah, bo, agar che, bo agar che. We enjoy that. That's the reason that we want to study. The Imam says that it may benefit you in this world, even that's not guaranteed. But in the hereafter, where it's really supposed to benefit you, this knowledge is not beneficial for us. A person who studies so that tomorrow that they can become the head and everyone listens to them, and when somebody tells them that, why are you doing it like this? Should it not be? He said, how much have you studied? What do you know? I am the one that studied. I am the this and that and this and that. These are dangers. A person who takes up on this path of knowledge, if they become like this, that they become proud of their knowledge and they want to show it off to others, and they want to be one that, when somebody comes, they want to trouble them and show them, I know more than you. There's a hadith about this, that anyone who asks a question to annoy another person, to show them that they don't know anything, to get into unnecessary debate, this person will not benefit from this knowledge. This person is going astray, is not taken and walked upon the path of knowledge. I'll end with this hadith of the Holy Prophet, where somebody came to the Holy Prophet and he said, "Oh Holy Prophet, what is ilm? Mal ilm?" And the Holy Prophet explained properly how we are supposed to follow this procedure of gaining knowledge. قال الإنصات. The first level of knowledge is to be silent and not have anything to say to begin with. Become completely silent. Yes, ثم ما? Then what? فقال الاستماع. Listen carefully. ثم ما? He says, then what? قال الحفظ. Now is the time to protect this knowledge. Pay attention to it. Think about it. At this stage, usually we get some point and we say, amche, uli amche, amche. All of these we try to apply to different people. The Holy Prophet says, no, keep it inside yourself first. You read a nice hadith, you say, kalu ma madrasa ma case ma students ne, kalu class ma am sikharis. No, first keep it for yourself. Al-hifz, protect it, keep it inside. Don't study it to tell other people. Don't study it to correct other people. Let's work on ourselves first. Keep it inside. ثُمَّ مَا, he says, then what? He says, الْعَمَلُ بِهِ. Then it's the time to start practicing this knowledge. ثُمَّ مَا قَالَ نَشْرُهُ. And that stage is the stage where you can spread this knowledge. You've kept it, applied it. First you're quiet. You didn't have, somebody wants to say something, you want to oppose and object, and you show them, the Holy Prophet says, quiet first. Understand it, protect it, keep it within you, act upon it, then it's the time to spread it. This is the way that the Ahlul Bayt have taught us to be when it comes to knowledge. We pray to Allah that we're able to walk upon this path of knowledge in the way that the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt have instructed us, and to be able to reach the destination, which is the proximity to Allah. وصلى الله على محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.